Hi, hello. Can everybody hear me okay? How's the sound coming through, if it's coming through at all? Hi, hello. Can you all hear me? Can someone say something in chat if you can hear me or not? Or if you can even see me? Outstanding. Uh, 30 seconds in, and we are already miles above how my last attempt at this went. So, welcome, everybody. We're just going to we're going to chat for a bit and give more people a chance to wander in if they so choose. And then in a little while, we will play on Poetic Tides, um, which is a wonderful card based um, piratical poetry writing game. So we're going to write some pirate poems together. Um, so I hope you'll stick around and do some of that with me. Um, yeah. Whew. I I'm excited to actually like get started with this because it's been something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and just have not had the wherewithal to do it. Like I've wanted to get um, um, like start doing charity streaming and actually start hosting charity streams. It it always felt really bad for me to like want to produce charity games, and then insist that somebody else do all the tech and stuff like that. I figure if I'm taking that on, if I'm going to do that, and ask people to come out and play in a charity game for like nothing, just to support a charity, then I should at least have the wherewithal to host the game and do all the tech and the back end and stuff like that. That seems like a fair trade. Um, well, not really a fair trade, but it seems a fairer trade to me than just dragging somebody else in for their tech expertise. Um, and at least from what I can see right now, yeah, I mean you're right, Timothy. It's not something to just like jump into and but I'm already feeling much better about it. I got a piece of loaner tech, um, to sort of try out a newer machine, that I will probably end up just buying. But yeah, uh, just realizing like with a newer machine how much um, the technology was holding me back, the hardware, like not anything I was trying to do. The software was all great, um, but just the hardware, um, like no word of a lie. I think it looked like it was just a series of like photographs. I mean, Beth, you were here. Thanks, Moscow Rabbits. Um, and welcome in. Um, yeah, Beth, you were here like when I tried to do this back in September, and it was just like looking at a um, like just a series of still photographs, if that. And I use series in like um, in a very generous sense of the word. Yeah, it feels great. Um, so, as a comparison, I tried to do this back in September, on Twitch Studio, and like I don't know much about this tech, but I'm gonna guess that like 87,000 dropped frames in the course of like 30 minutes, probably bad. Um, Compare that to right now, and when, yeah, and when the when the like Streamlabs and having the yeah, exactly, Beth. Like it could be a whole bunch of stuff. In this case, I sort of knew that it was literally just the newest piece of tech I had in the house at the time was like 8 years old, um, and it just wasn't up to what I wanted to do with it. So that solution at least was simple, um, but yeah, and like just looking at the numbers right now, like comparing it to when I was trying to do this on my old laptop back in September, it was like eating up like 80% of my CPU. Right now, according to my dashboard here, it fluctuates between like 0.2% and 1% of my CPU in order to stream this out. So yeah, it was a hardware issue. um, at least it was a hardware issue getting me onto stream. Whether my streams are good or whether my streams are successful, that comes down to me. So, but yeah, it feels really good to be here and get started on this. Oh, cool. Yeah. Like this is, um, yeah, like this is a this year model laptop. So, um, and like I'm also wireless, so I'm actually really pleased that again, that was one of the issues I had with the other one is that even if I was joining a game on my old laptop, um, I had to do it at my desk, like basically sitting over top of the router. Otherwise, the laptop didn't get a good signal with. If I came in here to my game room and excuse the mess behind me, the game room was my roommate's office over the course of the pandemic, and then we've just sort of, and then we had the windows. The landlord replaced the windows on the house, and we had to then move all the shelves away from the walls, and so the room is basically just a mess. It's sort of how it's sort of become the room to dump stuff while we figure out what to do with it. So part of my process in getting this space set up will be figuring out what to do with all that junk. But you can see my big shelf of games behind me. What you can't see is all the shelves of tabletop role-playing books that are sort of like crowded around me as if they're about to beat me up. It's like because we pulled them all away from the walls, and they're just sort of like stood haphazardly in the middle of the room so that the workers could replace the windows without damaging anything. So yeah, but I'm actually going to crack open, for now anyway, a non-alcoholic. Sorry about that. Popping on the mic. A Buble. And they're not a sponsor, but like hit me up, Buble. You must be getting tired of Michael Bublé as your spokesman. So but yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that's like the other thing is that I was concerned about how well I could connect to the internet while I was here in the game room. And once again, it was hardware, man. It was just hardware. Because I'm here, the computer is not having any issues. There's no drop frames. Everything is fantastic. So, yeah. So yeah, I want to chat a little bit about sort of my plans for the rest of. Oh, hey. Hi, Misanthrope 1313. Thanks for stopping by. How is it in California right now? We probably had our last like double digit above zero temperature high today. It got up to it a whole Sorry, I'm in Canada, so which you might have guessed from the name Dorklord, Canada. Um, but so I go and gorgeous, yeah, not 90 degrees, yeah. Um, but yeah, uh, so we deal in Celsius here in Canada, as any civilized nation would. Um, and yeah, we had a high of 16 degrees Celsius today, and that is probably going to be the last time we have a double-digit high um, for the rest of the year, because the rest of our forecast is like just not even slowly, is just steadily declining into negative numbers. Um, yeah, but anyway, now that there's some more people here, and I will reintroduce myself. 90 degrees Celsius. Let me quickly do, because we had to do this in Boy Scouts. 90 degrees Celsius is, I want to say, roughly 25 degrees Celsius. Yeah, 95, 90. Yeah, roughly around there. It's, yeah, Moscow Rabbits. It's been pretty dry here too. Um, we get we've been getting some rain recently, but it was a fairly dry summer. Hopefully it is a good snowy winter, because I'm here in Alberta, Canada. Alberta is a farming province predominantly, when it's not like doing oil and gas. And unsurprisingly, the oil and gas industry has not been working terribly well, not functioning terribly well over the course of the pandemic. So yeah, so they sort of rely on, getting enough snow and enough snow over the course of the winter, so that when it comes time to plant crops in the spring, the fields are properly watered and stuff like that. And I mean, that's probably more than you needed to know about like farming practices, but you can always count on me for to give you the lowdown on that stuff. I grew up a farm kid, so so yeah, we're just heading into wintertime. Um, so yeah, let me reintroduce myself a little bit. I am Dorklord Canada on Twitter. You can see the various places you can find me. This has been Canada Corner. Wow. I wonder if I should start doing like just a series of. So the thing about living in a socialist country, um, I mean, okay, you probably didn't sign up. You probably didn't show up to like a TTRPG stream, even a solo one, expecting to hear about like. But the thing, about living in a parliamentary socialism is that the Canadian government actually pays for a lot of stuff, and for a long time they did these little, what they called Canadian vignettes. And if you just go on YouTube and search Canadian vignettes, or Canada moments, or Canada minutes, or something like that, you'll just get this whole raft of things, like, and some of it is like very solidly like pieces of Canadian history, and then some of it is just like we're latching on to like the most ephemeral Canadian that like connection we can possibly do. There's one in there about like Winnie the Pooh, and all it is just the origin of Winnie the Pooh's name, like but named after Winnipeg here in Canada. But in any case, So yeah, my plan with these streams um, is to play some solo tabletop role playing games because I think they are really fantastic. I think I'm not alone in that. I hadn't really played a lot of solo tabletop role playing games prior to the pandemic, and then suddenly I just had all of this time on my hands, um, and nowhere to go, and so I just started like I hit up itch and just started downloading solo game after solo game, and they were fantastic. Um, and there I think there's like a bit of a tell you about our socialist paradise. Look, um, yeah, it's not a paradise. Um, I mean, we would. Okay, there's. I don't know how to say this without slagging on the United States. Please understand that if I ever like speak poorly of the United States, I'm speaking of the country, not the people who live there. Not all the people who live there. Um, but we only really look good because we're north of you. Like by comparison to some of the stuff that the U.S. government and the U.S. health care system and stuff gets up to, we look pretty good. But if you put us next to countries that actually have a comprehensive health care, um, like France, like Germany, like even Britain. Although I don't like to hold Britain up as an example right now because they're just going insane. They seem to be letting turfs run wild, which is not cool. But like any of those countries, if you're in France and you have like an emergency or something like that, you just go to the hospital and they look after you and you leave, and you might have to pay like the equivalent of like 30 to 50 bucks American just to cover like some incidentals and things like that. But your primary health care, everything is just covered. Because for all their faults, France believes that that is the job of their government, is to look after their people. It's a crazy thought. I hope it catches on. Here in Canada, we're pretty good, but there's still a lot that isn't covered under our healthcare, and it certainly is not as easy as just going into a hospital and getting care. It's better, but it's not perfect. So, and then you add into that the fact that we, Canada likes to uphold itself as a warm and welcoming country, which unfortunately does not jive with how it has treated and is currently treating, and looks, at least for the foreseeable future, to be treating its indigenous peoples. So yeah, I think just like any other place in the world, we've got stuff to work on. We might be better at some stuff than other countries. We're definitely worse. Like I'm not downplaying the fact that I can go into like a hospital and not, and get treatment and be fairly confident that I'm not bankrupting not going to bankrupt myself or my family. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying that at all. But it's not. We're not perfect. We're better. We're not perfect. Let's put it that way. We got a lot of stuff we still need to work on. How we treat our indigenous population, how we treat our disabled population is not great. So still a lot of stuff to work on. Anyway, I got really heavy really fast, and I'm not opposed to discussing heavy stuff. Yeah, I mean, sadly, that's true, Timothy. It's not like it's not like any country is blameless when it comes to how they've treated their indigenous population. So, but yeah. So, like I was saying, my intention with these streams is to play some solo tabletop role playing games primarily because I want to have, um, I want to have I want to show off some of these awesome solo tabletop role playing games that have sort of gotten me through the pandemic, um, and that I really enjoy. But also, I am here raising money for Extra Life, which is a charity that I have been raising funds for. This is actually my 10th year doing it. Um, and yeah, it is my favorite charity. It is um, my go-to charity. Um, anytime I want to throw money towards. Um, I had some stuff growing up where like we really didn't have anything. Like here in Edmonton, we have the Staldry Children's Hospital, which, as you would guess from the name, primarily looks after sick kids, but also has like just huge research capacity for researching illnesses that seem to like mostly target children. And they just do a lot of really good work. And there are a lot of really good children's hospitals, like all around North America, all around the world, that do this fantastic work. Um, Growing up, didn't really have access to that, and when I was a kid, I was laid up with like pneumonia for a little while. I had some other health issues, and there was nothing really like the Stollery. So a lot of the time, I ended up just sort of sitting at home, not unlike the pandemic, um, getting on my mother's nerves, um, and it would have been nice had there been like the facilities for me to like actually get properly treated in hospital and stuff like that. So um, I can't think of anything like being sick and being a kid um, is awful, right? Like it's awful being sick as an adult when you can sort of understand what's going on and why you're feeling bad and stuff like that. But imagine like if you're like 5 and you're still learning about the world, and then suddenly you wake up one morning and your nose is just like gushing, and your throat is raw, and you have no idea what's going on. Like your body hurts, and I mean like that's just a cold, right? Like, but imagine how awful it would be to be a kid and like have something even worse, um, happen to you. Um, so yeah, I want to give to a charity that I want to help support a charity that helps kids out, and um, thanks, Misanthrope. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you came by today too. Um, so that is my goal with these. Actually, I don't know if it has yet. I did set up some alerts and stuff like that, but I also set up, so if I go exclamation point extra life, that should give, yeah, that's my donation link to my donation page. The hefty goal I set for myself back before I realized that my hardware was going to turf out on me and not really let me do what I wanted to do. I have a goal this year of raising $3,500. I'm going to leave that in place. I may not get to it. I may, that's fine. But I'm going to leave it in place and keep trying to shoot for that. Currently, I think I'm at 495 out of that. So not too bad. Secondary goal. If I get over 1,000, I will be very, very happy. So yeah, if you stop by and you have the means and you want to go donate, please swing by and thank you, Mr. Thorpe. That's awesome. Yeah, please swing by and check out the page. I have a variety of tabletop role playing game incentives on the page. So if you donate at certain levels, you get certain things. $10 is I will create a magic item or a special item for whatever game you're playing. at, I think it's 15 or 20 is an NPC. 25 is, a smart person would actually just like open up or like maybe follow the link in the chat and read these instead of like trying to remember them. That would be what a clever person does. Look, I'm clever. Yeah, so $10 gets you an item. And the thing about the $10 one is that I also wanted to do something in there. So if you read like on the page, one of the things that I have is what I called my $10 to infinity plan, because my goal is, if I get enough, even if I don't get enough, I will take all of the items that I have created over the course of this, regardless of system. I will put them together into a PDF, do a nice layout for it, and put it up on Itch, and basically sell it on Itch, and all of the money generated from that will go back into Extra Life. So if you use the $10 incentive and have me create a magic item for you, you get to have the magic item, and then like sometime next year I will publish like all of that stuff, and other people will be able to see the magic item as well. But the idea is that by donating $10 and getting your magic item, I then make that continue to pay off into the future. So as long as people are buying the PDF, your $10 continues to generate funds for Extra Life. And it's fun for me to throw that together. Yeah, I just enjoy making stuff. So I'm already at about like 5 or 6 people have gotten in at the $10 donation level. Yeah, so 15 gets you a custom monster or GM character for the TTRPG of your choice. $25 gets you an encounter location designed by me for a game of your choice. $40 gets you all 3 of the previous tiers unified into a single encounter for your tabletop role-playing game. So, although I guess I shouldn't have framed it that way, maybe if you wanted like different things for different games, we can talk about that. One of the instructions, if you donate at those levels, is to like email me and we'll chat about what you want and stuff like that. I'm not just making this stuff whole cloth. I will actually like talk to you and give you something that you can use in your game. But yeah, donating at the $40 tier, I will unify all those and make it like an encounter location with a cool GM character or monster, and a special magic item that the group can find there. There's a $50 tier, which is if you need editing services. So I'm a freelance editor for tabletop role-playing games and speculative fiction. And so one of the things I try to offer every year is a special tier. So the $50 tier is editing. I will do up to 25 pages, any type of editing that you need. So that can be proofreading, that can be copy editing, that can be developmental editing. If you're at like a stage where you're like, I'm not quite sure if this is working or how these rules fit together, that's what developmental editing is for. So I would sit down with you and help you figure out that sort of stuff. And then $125 is I put a limit on that just to make sure that I didn't run out of like time to do it for people. But if you donate $125, or if amongst your friends you donate a total of $125, and then someone just has to email me and let me know that like, hey, we all chipped in this amount and it adds up to, I will run a tabletop role-playing game for you and your friends. Yeah, that is those are sort of the incentives I have in there. The other thing I linked on there is that I made like a little while ago. It's amazing how much of like my creation is driven by conversations on Twitter. So was having a conversation in a Twitter feed the other day, and I came up with this is for D&D. Have you ever wanted to play a paladin who is also a sentient swarm of bees? Then I have created the oath for you. This is the oath of the hive, and it is exactly what it sounds. In another game that I play, Numenera, I played a character who was not necessarily bees, because Numenera is like 9 million years in the future, so, or 9 billion years in the future, or whatever. So, but a swarm of bee-like insects that was also like a lightning sorcerer, and that was pretty cool. And I was like, I wonder what that would look like in D&D. And so Paladin is one of my favorite classes to play, and so I was like, wouldn't it be cool? Because like bees will make a hive anywhere, right? So what if a hive of bees made, sorry, let me switch back so I can yeah, so what if a hive of bees, like a, made a home in a suit of armor, and then um magic, yeah, magic, let's just call it magic. We know what we're, it's D&D, we know what we're doing. um Magic gives them sentience, and so now, like, sort of the queen is their brain, and the rest of the hive is the body, and now they're operating this suit of armor as a paladin, and yeah, so that's on itch. Again, a clever man would have put a link that he could put in chat, but if you go through to the page, to my Extra Life page, you can link in from there, and it's I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so and yeah, all the proceeds, pay what you want. So you can download it for free, and I'm totally cool with that. If you do pay anything, however, that money is going to Extra Life. So, because that's what the bees would want, I figure. And then, sorry, we will jump in and start playing on Poetic Tides pretty quick here. But a drone marching song. Well, I'm not a musician, but I have written lyrics, so I could certainly write the book if somebody wanted to. If somebody wanted to write the music. Although I guess if it's drones, it wouldn't necessarily be terribly complicated music. But what was I going to say? Yeah, we will get playing on Poetic Tides right away. Just a brief thing to close the loop on the streaming that I plan to do. So we're going to do solo RPGs on Thursday nights for a couple of hours. It's probably going to be much like this. I will chat and talk with all of you for like the first, 45 minutes or so, and then we will jump into the solo game for the evening. That leads up to November 5th, Saturday, November 5th, which is the 24-hour game day for Extra Life. So on that day, I will be starting at 8 a.m. My time, so 8 a.m. Mountain Standard, and playing for 24 hours. So I will be playing a mix of solo tabletop role-playing games. I might stream some video games. I'll just have to set up my capture to allow you to see that. but that shouldn't be too difficult. Setting this up in Twitch Studio was actually pretty easy. So, um, yeah. So if you want to, if you want to pop in and out on November 5th, starting at 8 a.m. Mountain, which would be 10 a.m. Eastern or 7 a.m. Pacific, and watch my slow but steady decline into madness as I play games with no sleep for 24 hours. Then yeah, that would be the perfect place to do it, because chances are good I'm not going to do anything like that outside of trying to raise money for sick kids. So, and then long term, what I'm hoping to do, I'm going to keep these Thursday night streams up for the rest of the year. I do hope to get to affiliate status, and thank you for everybody, by the way, who has followed me on here. As you can see on the chart or on the little bar, 50 followers is the minimum that you need to hit as one of the requirements to be affiliate on here. And affiliate is sort of unlocks some other abilities, among them the ability to actually do like donations to a charity, like through the stream, as opposed to having to send you to an external site. I mean, I guess Tiltify is still an external site, but you know what I mean. It's integrated more into Twitch and streaming and stuff like that. Yeah. So thank you so much to everyone who has followed so far. If you and it goes without saying, like any time that I'm like streaming this stuff, if you get bits, if you do, I don't even know what's out there. I haven't actually gone to look at what my screen looks like from your point of view, so I don't know what you're seeing or if there are even any options for any of that stuff. But any money, any donations that come in, like while I'm streaming this stuff, is all going to go to Extra Life. I'm not keeping any of it. Twitch will take their cut, and then I will everything else will go to Extra Life. So yeah, let's play some on Poetic Tides. How about that? So this is a fantastic game. First of all, I love games that are just one page. I mean, that just makes life so so easy. So this is On Poetic Tides, a poetry prompting adventure. It is a game by Beth Jackson. I believe our playwright is in the audience tonight. Beth, if you want to say hello to everyone. And Beth has been super supportive ever since I announced that I was going to do this. So thank you so very much. Sorry I couldn't get to it sooner, but we're here now, and I'm really happy that this is like the first game that I'm playing on my first stream. So, yeah, so required provisions: a standard deck of cards, but only the 2 to 6 of each suit. So I have that. It's not important, but they are from a deck from one of my favorite artists, John Kowalik, who does a lot of the Munchkin art. And it's from a deck of Cthulhu-themed cards. So I don't know if you can how well you can see that. I don't know if it's in focus. So a little cartoon Cthulhu's. Anyway, not important to the game at all, but I just thought I would show that off. And I will just shuffle while we go over this. And then the other thing you need, of course, is a pen and paper to track your poetic adventure. So, the first thing you do, start by writing a single introductory stanza. Who are you? Where are you from? Why? Cover these things, or more or less, in as much detail as you'd like. Or don't, you scallywag. So, I'm not going to write this alone because that would be boring. But yeah, let me read through the rest of the rules, and then we will jump into doing this. So we're going to write our introductory stanza. Once we have that, see, I skipped ahead. I'm a keener. Shuffle the 20 cards. Alternate between drawing a card and writing a line of poetry. Each line you write should be based on the corresponding theme listed below, and we'll get to that in a second. A 2 or a 3 requires a negative slant on it. A 5 or a 6 gets a positive slant, and a 4, that's up to you, seafarer. And then our limit is once a pile has all 5 cards in it of one suit, then instead of writing a single line of poetry, we start our final stanza. You can make this one as long as you like, but it must be centered around the final suit and number on the card you drew. And so, how we determine sort of what we're going to write about, what lies beyond the horizon. So, clubs, we write about misadventure. And miss is in brackets. So it could be misadventure, it could be adventure. Something epic has happened, but whether it's good or bad is up to the fates. Spades is the environment itself. Has a storm picked up? Perhaps the winds have died, leaving you stranded at sea. Or maybe they're at your back, blessing your journey. Hearts, longing, of course. Are you longing for a person, a destination, maybe even a bite of food or some land to set foot on? And diamonds is discovery. What have you found? Adventure? Is it a curse? Treasure? Or has it found you? So yeah. I will refer back to that periodically. But oh, thanks for coming by, Mrs. Thoreau. I'm glad you dropped in. Enjoy your errands. I'm just gonna shuffle the cards a little bit. Sorry, I'm just gonna be. Oh, and sorry, I didn't see the rest of your thing. But thank you so very much for the donation. That is awesome of you. I'm just gonna scroll back up through chat here. Oh, hey, Musker Rabbits. I mean, you don't have to. I will play your solo journaling game. If you, you know, I don't know if it's on itch already. Just like maybe shoot me a link on Twitter. I currently have like all the auto mod stuff at its highest level because I'm here on my own and I don't have, you know, I figured that was easier at least to start with. But yeah, I would love to play something like that. Please do. You know, share it with me. And as for the donation, like I don't know, you know, donate how you feel. I you know, I love playing tabletop role playing games. I love them even more for a good cause. So do Yeah, Beth, that is a lot of editing for $50. I really wanted like a tier where I could like for at least part of the year, um, because I know there's a lot of people out there like struggling with their games and stuff like that, and to get stuff done, um, who you know, um, it's no fault of theirs, but they can't afford to pay an editor, their regular rates, and I totally get that. You know, like things are tough out there right now, and so I wanted something where, yes, I could have just put on my site like, you know, hey, if you if you're struggling, I will edit your thing for $50. But I figured I might as well. Um, oh, thanks, Timothy. Yeah, I'll be throwing this up on Twitter too. So if you don't get a chance, you can check that out there. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for stopping by. Um, cool. Thanks, Mouse Rabbits. I will give that a follow. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, so I wanted something that like I could help out, um, you know, creators who were maybe struggling a little bit, but also like help out the charity that I like to support. Um, and so, and I mean, most of the time it's very rarely do I have somebody come to me for developmental editing for something like that. And mostly they're looking for somebody to do like proofreading or copy editing, which is you know much more straightforward. And so it's and also it's a good time of year for it. Like if I get that stuff in, I usually have like a couple of weeks holidays around Christmas and into the New Year's, and so it gives me some stuff to do. I can sit and listen to the winds howl outside and drink coffee and edit stuff. So um, yeah, but with that, so let's jump into. I think I've shuffled this deck enough that we can move on. Um, so let's write our first stanza. Who in chat wants to give me like a good piratical opening line? We'll do like an A B rhyme scheme. We'll do like a nice little 4-line opening stanza. So is there anybody who wants to like offer up a good piratical first line? Um, and if the answer is no, I'll just come up with something. I'm fine with that. But I figured we're in this together, folks. So let's. Um, I realize that by involving you all, I am turning this from a solo TTRPG to a team TTRPG, which I'm totally okay with. Um, I hear the creator is end rhyme something sail. Okay. Um. Well, I'm from Canada, and there is like a whole tradition of like maritime and East Coast music. So I'm going to start this off with let's see here. From Halifax Harbor, we set sail. How's that? I know the riveting content of watching me write something down. This is why Twitch was invented. Um, we set sail. I'm already thinking ahead, and I know I want to. Like Gale seems like a pretty obvious rhyme to go with that. Um, so I'm going to keep that in the back of my head. From Halifax Harbor, we set sail. A scurvier crew you've never met. Shall we dig into the pirate theme right away? Just bite down hard. All right, let's do that. Scurvier. Yep. No, you're absolutely right, Masquerades. It's never too early to go full pirate. So, a Scurvier crew. You never did see. That feels more. Scurvier crew, you never did see. Well, this is, yeah, I mean, awesome. Take care, Moscow Rabbits. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yes, always go full pirate. You're absolutely right. All right, I'm going to get 2 more lines for this opening stanza, and then we're going to start drawing cards and see what we can come up with here. So, from Halifax Harbor we set sail, a Scurvier crew you never did see. We sailed 3 days, because 3s always pop up in poetry. We sailed 3 days through wind and gale. Let's get a destination in there. We sailed 3 days through wind and gale. Bound for the shores of old Maui. There we go. All right. So that's our opening stanza. From Halifax Harbor we set sail, a Scurvier crew you never did see. We sailed 3 days through wind and gale, bound for the shores of old Maui. All right. And now we start pulling cards and seeing what we get. So I will show the cards to the camera. I don't know if you can actually make them out or not, but it's only fair that I accountability matters. So cards are shuffled. First card is 5 of diamonds. So diamonds is, quickly go back, discovery. Have you found adventure? Is it a curse? Treasure? Has it found you? And a 5 is a positive slant. So this is a good thing. We found something good. Well, I mean, nothing is better for a pirate than a big, slow, lumbering ship of some kind. So how about and since we sailed out of Halifax, it is entirely possible that instead of these being like pirates, because that's pirates are criminals. That would be awful. No. The ships that sailed out of Halifax were privateers. They had a letter of marque from the king, and were legally obligated to attack ships the enemy flags. So it's all very above board. I mean, they're just pirates with better marketing, but like, but that is a fact of history. There were a lot of, especially around the time of the uh, um, Revolutionary War in the United States. There were a lot of, excuse me, privateers that sailed out of Canadian harbors with a letter of marque from King George, telling them that it was absolutely okay if you wanted to go attack some American ships. But yeah, but I've already slagged on Americans enough in the or slagged on the U.S. enough in this. So let's make it let's just make it a generic a fat, slow coaster, which is yeah, I mean it might be a privateer game to make. Like it would be a fun game. You're carrying out your normal piratical duties, but you also have to do like I'm just imagining like you have to do like a little bit of PR, like you have to be a little um, nicer about things uh, than the average pirate, because you don't want to make if you're raiding people under the flag of Britain, for instance, you don't want to make Britain look bad, because after all, Britain is busy enough making themselves look bad. They certainly don't need your help. Let's see, a fat slow coaster, hove in sight. So that's our first line of the next thing. So things are looking up. Our pirate crew has been like sailing for 3 days through wind and gale, and they found a big. At the end of it, they've found a big slow ship. So let's see what's next. 5 of clubs. All right. So clubs is adventure. Something epic has happened, but whether it's good or bad is up to the fates. Okay. And because it's a 5, it's a positive spin. So this is adventure as opposed to misadventure. Sorry, I'm just realizing I do have to keep these cards separate so that when I get to 5 cards, I will know, for one thing. But does anyone in chat want to suggest like the next line? Or something? So they've just encountered a big fat slow ship. What is the good luck and what is the adventure they may have found? And it doesn't have to be anything specific. We could like hint at something, and then try and tie it together. Maybe the ship is like so slow and so low in the water because it's carrying like so much treasure that there's actually like treasure on the deck. Like you can actually see chests, so you can see the glint of like gold and jewels and everything else, which may or may not actually be there. Maybe it's a trap. We'll let the cards tell us sort of how that's going to go, but maybe something to do with that. So fat slow coaster, hove in sight. Good adventure. Yeah, maybe. Um, yeah. Ooh, sorry for the yawn. Um, I was for anybody here who doesn't know, and I'm guessing that's all of you. Um, my day job is I work for the city of Edmonton here in my municipality. I'm an administrative support with community resources, and so I do a lot of work with the public and stuff like that. We've been mostly working from home, but we have been asked to like go into the office at least one day a week. And that was supposed to be yesterday for me, and then things just schedule wise didn't work out. So I ended up going in today. I had intended to be home and then have enough time to like rest and stuff like that before coming onto the stream, but instead I ended up like rushing home from work and had a bit of a rest and then jumped in here, um, which is not a complaint. Happy to be here, and this is a nice low key enough stream that like I can chat with you all and yeah, just have some fun. But I will warn you, you may see the occasional yawn. So if, I've heard those are contagious. So I apologize ahead of time. No, okay. Um, yeah, there was nothing at this end, Beth. Nothing dropped or anything. So yeah, it might have just been yours. But like, keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it too. Oh, okay. Fantastic. All right. So yeah, what is the adventure? What is the Fat Slow Coaster Hove in sight? Uh, laden with treasure from. I feel like it needs more than that. Laden with treasure that's shone in the sun. Sure. Look, we didn't promise good poetry. Anybody who came to this stream expecting that me to create good poetry is, um, but as a first draft, this will be fine. A fat slow coaster hove in sight, laden with treasure that shone in the sun. That shone in the sun. Just because I can see that there's like new people popping in, just to let everyone know, what we're doing right now is we're playing the solo TTRPG on Poetic Tides, which is a piratical poetry writing game. It's by Beth Makes Games, who is in the chat right now. And it is a wonderful little game of drawing cards and writing poems. So let's see. Ooh. So the next one is, it continues, but it's a 3. So the now we firmly have switched over to misadventure. So something goes wrong. It would be really easy to have something go wrong for the slow ship, because that seems pretty obvious. The pirate ship is going to overtake that one pretty easily. But I think it's more interesting if something like bad happens to the pirate ship. And I might make this one 2 lines of poetry, or 2 lines, just to finish out this stanza. Let's see here. So distracted were they. Ooh, so distracted were they by the glittering light. Light. They paid no heed. Heed sounds piratical, right? They paid no heed to the coasters. Coasters, big guns. It's probably a more poetical way to say that, but all right. Shall I read back what I have written so far? From Halifax Harbor we set sail, a scurvier crew you never did see. We sailed 3 days through wind and the gale, bound for the shores of old Maui. A fat, slow coaster hove in sight, laden with treasure that shone in the sun. So distracted were they by the glittering light. Actually, that should be we. So distracted were we by the glittering light. Sorry, editor. We paid no heed to the coasters' big guns. I'm gonna figure out a different way to put big guns. All right. So next card. Oof. 2 of clubs. Well, we know it's going to get like worse and worse for these pirates. Let's see here. There was an almighty crack as we hove alongside. And they're 16-pounders. Spat. Fire. And ruin. All right. And just so you know, sorry, I'm writing out terms that like I don't want to I'm just sort of going along and assuming that you all know what some of these terms are, and that's not necessarily true because not everybody had as huge a fascination with the age of sail as I did growing up. So a coaster is like literally just like a coastal transport ship. It is not really designed to leave sight of land. It doesn't really have any good like steering or navigation. It is literally meant to leave a port, stay within sight of land until you get to the next port, and then dock. So they're fairly easy prey for pirates. The one benefit is that, of course, because they're close to shore, there's every possibility that, hopefully a patrolling ship of the country that you are sort of that controls that shore will come by and may come by and save you. That said, it was not uncommon for ships to warships to disguise themselves as easy prey, weigh themselves down, so they sat low in the water and looked very, very slow, so that when people with bad intentions sailed close by, they would get a nasty surprise because they would find out that the reason the ship was sailing so low in the water is that it was laden down with cannon and not treasure. So, and the reference to 16 pounders, so it was fairly standard. Britain kept up the practice well into their tank building phases in World War I and II and stuff like that. They would refer to guns as basically by the weight of shot that was required, or sorry, I would have to look it up. I can't remember if it's the weight of the shot itself, the shell itself, or if it's the weight of powder required in order to move whatever shot they were setting. But they basically referred to guns as pounders. So a 12-pounder gun would take 12 pounds of gunpowder in order to fire its cannonball, or if I'm misremembering it, it would fire a 12-pound cannonball, and then however much powder was required in there. The only reason I'm confused on that point is that, like I said, British tanks would use that same terminology, because British tanks used, instead of having shells that had that were basically rifle rounds, like a lot of nations had for their tanks, they actually had external powder charges. So when you were loading a gun in a British tank, you had to load the powder satchel first, and then you put reverse that. You put the shell in, the thing that was going to be shot out of the gun, and then you put the powder charge behind that, and you closed the breech, and then fired. And the firing mechanism would set fire to and cause that. Anyway, it's probably more than you need to know about that, but all right. So it's not looking good for our merry band of pirates. Let's see here. Next card, 4 of Hearts. Okay, so this can go either way. The 4 is but this is longing and romance. Well, it doesn't have to be romance. It can be longing. Any type of longing. Person, destination, eat a bite of food. I mean, right now I'm thinking this pirate crew is pretty much longing for the days when they weren't being shot at with cannons. So, Spatfire and Ruin. As yeah, that's right, Beth. Yeah, coasters are lucrative because they're always full of stuff. But yeah, but they could be tricking you. and also like sailing in. They could just be, if the coaster itself wasn't like a sort of wolf in sheep's clothing. Oftentimes, it was set out as bait, so you would like have the coaster sailing along maybe a little too far away from shore than it should have been, with some like a larger warship or two stationed nearby, waiting to see what came after the coaster. So yeah, let's see. There's an almighty crack as we hove alongside. There's 16 pounders spat fire and ruin. I thought longing thoughts of my sweet Halifax bride. Sure. Gonna go with it. Gonna run with it. Halifax bride. And wondered. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I thought longing thoughts. Sweet Halifax bride. And prayed through the din. I realize I'm making the camera shake. I apologize. Prayed through the din. I would reach her side soon. I'm a slave to the rhyme scheme, folks. I'm just trying to get there we go. All right, it's not pretty. All right, let's see what happens next for our poor pirates. Next card is the Three of Hearts. Oh no. So this is still longing and potentially romance, but because it's a 3, it is not going well for our. It's not going to go well. Something bad happens. I mean, the obvious bad thing is that I actually have to go to a new page. As our ship burned around me, I thought that's a T, not an O. There we go. I thought hard of my love. Sure. Not looking forward to trying to rhyme that. Yes. So, let's see what the next one is. 5 of Hearts. Okay, things are picking up. So still longing and romance, but things are getting better. Let's see here. As your ship burned around me, I thought hard of my love. And as let's see, something good needs to happen here. So whatever else happens to the rest of this pirate ship, our narrator here has to survive, which I guess is like, given the situation that I've put him in. Um, you know, obviously he has to live because he has to write this poem, right? So, let's see. As our ship burned around me, I thought hard of my love. And I raced to the I raced to the railing to escape. I raced to the railing to escape fire and fury. Sure. All right. So our pirate is going to get out of this one. We just have to figure out how. Next card, 2 of spades. Oh no. Spades is the environment itself. Well, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that, you know, the ship is being battered by big 16-pound guns. So I raced to the railing to escape fire and fury. As the deck fell in right where it was stove. And where it was stove. All right. Again, didn't promise good poetry. We're just getting there. The deck fell in right where it was stove. And yes, I know technically love and stove do not rhyme, but just bear with me. Visually, they rhyme. Shut up, that's the thing. And next card. 4. Okay, so that could be good or bad. Sorry, 4 of spades. So again, it's the environment. It could be good or bad. I think at this point it needs to be good because like our pirate friend needs to survive. Stove. I jumped into a lifeboat. And rode no. I spotted Here we go. I spotted a lifeboat. And towards it did scurry. See, I needed to make the rhyme work. Okay. So that has given us, so far, oh, hey, welcome in. Yeah, we're just writing some piratical poetry. I don't promise that it's good piratical poetry, but since you're here, and are just joining us, why don't I go back to the beginning and read it from the front, and then we can continue on. Actually, sorry, I need a drink of something before I. All right. From Halifax Harbor we set sail, a scurvier crew you never did see. We sailed 3 days through wind and the gale, bound for the shores of old Maui. A fat, slow coaster hove in sight, laden with treasure that shone in the sun. So distracted were we by the glittering light, we paid no heed to the coaster's big guns. There was an almighty crack as we hove alongside, and their 16-pounders spat fire and ruin. I thought longing thoughts of my sweet Halifax bride, and prayed through the din I would reach her side soon. As our ship burned around me, I thought hard of my love. I raced to the railing to escape fire and fury. As the deck fell in right where it was stove, I spotted a lifeboat, and towards it did scurry. All right. So there we go. That's how we're going to save our poor privateer, or maybe not. Maybe this is his. Maybe this is his. Maybe this is his ghost. 6 of spades. So yeah. Okay. Things just took a turn for the worst. So spades is still the environment, but a 6 means that it's. Oh no, sorry, a 6 is a positive slam. What am I talking about? 6 is awesome. Yeah, don't listen to me. It's not like I have the game document right in front of me to give me this information. So yes, a 6 is awesome. Things are going amazing, and in fact, because it's a 6, it is, as far as this game is concerned, literally the awesomest it could be. So it's scary. I hauled on the lines. I hauled on the lines to free my salvation. Don't know how I'm going to rhyme that, but I'm going with it. Hauled on the lines to free my salvation. Made ready to row to 2, that's a T, row with all of my heart. All right, so he's getting away. Maybe he's getting away. Who knows? Let's see here. Okay. 6 of hearts. And that is almost all. Yeah. If we pull a 2 of hearts, the game is done. We just wrap it up. However, if we pull a 2 of hearts, so sorry for those of you following along. Hearts is again like longing. Could be longing for romance. So far, we've had him longing for his bride. So I guess we'll stick with that. So again, this is like a very positive slant. He's feeling very hopeful about getting home to his bride at this moment. Let's see. Hold on lines to free my salvation, made ready to row with all of my heart. Yeah, something with elation. Definitely, Beth. Not even something could quell my elation. Not even. Let's see. Not even. Yeah, I mean, devastation is a good rhyming one as well, but devastation is this is not. Well, it doesn't have to be about just my heart. I could hear my love call me through the rack and devastation. I'm doing it. Devastation. Come on, Brent. Spell. You can do it. Devastation. I can hear my love call me through the rack and devastation. I would row all the miles that kept us apart. All right. So that's pretty hopeful. He's made it off the ship. He's in a rowboat. He's gonna row back. I mean, I don't think he's gonna row back. He's probably gonna hopefully get picked up by another ship and not have to row all the way back to Halifax, considering they are like 3 days out and there were storms on the way here. So that's probably not weather you want to be rowing through. I'm hoping that once the excitement of escaping the battle passes, that he will then, um, cooler heads will prevail and he'll just make for shore and hopefully catch hopefully catch a ship back to Halifax. All right, next card. Oh, Two of Hearts. Okay, so we have so Two of Hearts again is hearts is tied to longing, and we have and two means that it is bad. Something bad is going to happen to do with longing. And also, we have pulled all 5 of the heart suit from the deck. So that means this is where we, instead of writing another line of poetry, this is where we wrap it up. We can write as much more from this point as we want to. But at the very least, this is where you sort of write your final stanza and wrap up the poem. So yeah. Looks like our pirate is our privateer. I don't mean to slander him like that. Looks like our privateer is not going to have come to a happy end. So let's see what. I mean, the obvious thing and the obviously tragic thing is that like one of the stray cannonballs strikes the rowboat and like just kills him. And actually I like that because it sets up as it kept us apart. I ne'er saw the ball that ended my life. And drowned all my hopes. And drowned all my hopes. Oh, let's get poetical. We haven't invoked a Greek god, a Greek or Roman god at this point, so we need to drowned all my hopes under drowned all my hopes in Poseidon's domain. Let's see. But now I haunt her who would have been my wife. And here but a ghost doomed to remain. All right. All right. So it looked like for a little while, looked for a second there that our privateer was going to get away. Unfortunately, he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, and or other way around, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, I'm not sure which way that's supposed to go. Anyway, all right. So let's hear our poem from the very beginning. So before I read this off, thank you once again to Beth Makes Games for this wonderful game. We have been playing on Poetic Tides, which is a solo RPG played with a deck of cards, a pen and paper, where you use the cards to prompt poetry writing and around a piratical or nautical theme. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out in chat. Thank you for coming by and watching things. Once I read this out, I think we'll probably wrap this up for the night, because I don't want to keep folks too much longer. And also, I think next week I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do Delve, which is a solo mapping game, where you sort of map out a dwarven mine and stronghold, and sort of tell the story of that little thing. But it is on my list to play. I just don't know if it's going to be next. There's just so many solo TTRPGs out there that I want to delve into. So delve. Okay. So thank you to everyone who joined me in chat. Here is the poem that we have wrought together. See how I spread the blame around so that if you don't like it, then no. Actually, I mean, honestly, for being prompted along by a deck of cards, Delve is a lot of fun. I love solo TTRPGs, where at the end of it you have something you could potentially use in another game. So I love Delve because at the end of it you've essentially mapped out in very broad strokes, but you've mapped out a potential adventuring site, right? You've just got this you've got this dwarven kingdom, and depending on how your game wraps up, it's either an ongoing concern that you could then use as a location in the game, or it's fallen into ruin and obviously a ripe location for adventurers to go and look at. All right, so let's hear the poem we have wrought together from the very beginning. I couldn't track down any royalty free nautical music, at least not yet. So you just have to imagine that there's a sad at appropriate points jaunty nautical music, and then sad dirges and things like that. I will leave that to you. From Halifax Harbor we set sail, a scurvier crew you never did see. We sailed 3 days through wind and gale, bound for the shores of old Maui. A fat, slow coaster hove in sight, laden with treasure that shone in the sun. So distracted were we by the glittering light, we paid no heed to the coaster's big guns. There was an almighty crack as we hove alongside, and their 16-pounder spat fire and ruin. I thought longing thoughts of my sweet Halifax bride, and prayed through the din I would reach her side soon. As our ship burned around me, I thought hard of my love. I raced to the railing to escape fire and fury. As the deck fell in right where it was stove, I spotted a lifeboat, and towards it did scurry. I hauled on the lines to free my salvation, made ready to row with all of my heart. I could hear my love call me through the wrack and devastation. I would row all the miles that kept us apart. I ne'er saw the ball that ended my life and drowned all my hopes in Poseidon's domain. But now I haunt her who would have been my wife, and here, but a ghost, I'm doomed to remain. So there you go. Thank you so very much for joining me on this little adventure. Yeah, I will. I don't know if it's been popping up in chat or not, but I will put it in there again right now. I am doing these solo TTRPG streams. Yeah, I know. And it's cool that you say that. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right, Beth, about like some games allow you to create an artifact. I would argue that so does yours. Like, I could absolutely see this as being like maybe with a little tweaking for place names and stuff like that. I could absolutely see this being like a poem that players come across while they're investigating like the strange goings on. Maybe some poor woman has asked them to investigate her home because things are strange. Stuff is getting bumped off shelves. People are like complaining of being like seeing a half burnt, half drowned sailor lurking around the place, and and this is the clue to sort of what is going on. It confirms that there is something, is a haunting of some kind. How did the poem get back or even get written? Well, I mean, hey, maybe the ghost could, can't do much. It can't like do anything really special, but maybe it can like, manipulate paper and ink. I know like charlatans in the 1900s who would do seances and stuff like that would have things where ghosts could apparently like they would do like psychic writing. So maybe this is an occasion of that actually happening, and they wrote this poem for someone to find and hopefully like help their love and help them. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much everyone for stopping by and playing along with me. My name is Brent, also known as Dorklord Canada on Twitter and on Instagram and on oh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be here next Thursday doing the exact same sort of thing, chatting for a bit and then diving into a game. I'm thinking probably Delve, which is a awesome solo mapping game, but it might be something different. We'll see. Yeah, thank you all. If you want to help out the channel, please do give it a follow. Getting up to 50 followers is like one of the first steps. Yeah, thanks, Aria. Have a great night yourself, and yeah, and the link should be in the chat there for donations if you feel the desire to. You can go to my Extra Life page and make a donation. That's also why I'm doing these. Besides showing off some really cool solo TTRPGs, I'm raising funds for Extra Life this year. So I really appreciate everyone stopping by for my very, very first live stream. So thank you to everyone who joined me on this little adventure. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Um, but everyone, take care. Have a great night wherever you are, and hopefully we'll catch you at the next one. All right.